Representative Newhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member. This certainly is an issue that affects more than Michigan. It affects the entire rest of the world compared to China. I'm interested in this subject of the subsidies. Ms. Dzinski, you just said something about the competition dynamic in China is kind of a mess. I think you used the word. So what, could you talk about what the forms of subsidies look like in China and how they compare what, I guess what you could call subsidies in the Western world, what they look like, and how can we counter them? I'm not sure we want to emulate them exactly, but, and then I'm also interested in the bigger question of how long can China continue to operate that way in a subsidized world. I mean, that seems like a very unsustainable business model. I guess in the long run, all I have to do is outlast the rest of us, right? So could you comment on that, or anybody else that has any comments or thoughts about that as well?
Sure, thank you. And I'll just point out, we issued a report over the summer on the advanced battery supply chain and went into a tremendous amount of detail on the structure of subsidies, so that might be a good reference point. But let me just list a few. Manufacturing grants, low-interest loans, tax exemption and rebates, consumer subsidies, state and local fleet mandates, and it goes on and on. The scale and scope of these subsidies is what matters. It's been happening for many, many years, and there's a graph that's coming to mind from our report where we show the amount of subsidies for EVs for Chinese firms versus the US, and there is no comparison. It's many, many, many times more than the US has undertaken. So this is absolutely a state-driven strategy, and they're in it for the long haul, as you've alluded to. So what does this mean in terms of how long they can go under this structure? That is really the big question. And there are other factors that play into this. It has to do with the real estate bubble. It has to do with their unemployment levels. It has to do with broader deflationary pressure. But what we can be doing is putting more pressure on this model that will potentially induce some change by having harmonized tariffs with allies and partners, by trying to push consumer demand in the right direction, protecting that demand in Western markets. We can protect ourselves in the US, we're doing that through tariffs and import restrictions, but the rest of the world isn't necessarily doing that, including allies and partners. We have to do it together. That will put the kind of pressure on the market that may have a real influence.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If I may add one point, sure. From our perspective, these industries are, we call it the China auto industry and the American auto industry, but these are completely different animals in terms of the incentive structures that exist. In our capitalist system, and I'm as big of an advocate for capitalism as could possibly be, our companies are incentivized to think about revenue and profits, yeah, and long-term viability of business, and that this is how our investors value our companies. The Chinese system really incentivizes dominance, and so these companies are not in search of profit, they are in search of domination. And you can lose money for a very long time and get zero interest rate or negative interest rate loans for a very long time, and your business can exist for decades before there is that expectation of profit. And so we have to recognize that those incentives are very different, and if we don't counter those incentives, a company seeking profit versus a company seeking domination, the company seeking domination will win every time. Interesting, interesting.
Mr. Parton, you have some thoughts?
I think your question about how long it continues is an important one. I think if you look at the recent, in October, indications of what the Chinese next 5-year plan sets out, then I think you'll see that Xi Jinping has basically doubled down on the current model in which the state, the Communist Party, is able to channel the bulk of its resources towards achieving his objectives, which I think we're all clear and we've set out earlier. And he doesn't have an electorate to bother about. Yeah. He has a surveillance and repressive system, which I think can contain however unhappy and unemployed people in China might be for a very long time. And I would also say that on that basis, and the basis of our planning, we need to plan that it will continue in that way, even if it all fell apart tomorrow, which I don't believe it will. I think it'll go on for a relatively long time. But however long it's going to go on for, we must plan that is the future for us, and we've got to take measures.
No, I appreciate that, and I see my time is up, but I think this is one of the biggest questions that we in the Western world need to understand. This is a strategy that China is using, not just in automobiles, but in every category of the economy you can think of. And the bigger question I wonder about is how sustainable is that? And like I said, they just have to outlast the rest of us, I guess, and that seems to be the track they're on. But thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.